Welcome back. It is Saturday, August 12th, and the MLB. Our 5 favorite picks are on the way. It's Austin, joined by Logan. It's so close. Let's recap yesterday. We should be joined by the Broom. A 3-in-1 day, but hey, we'll never complain with a little bit of profit on a 6-in-1 run. Let's talk about it. Trey Turner, the legend, continues to grow. Over 1.5 bases, we'll take it. Yankees, Marlins, Nerfy, one of the least, sweat-free Nerfies we've had this year. White Sox over 1.5, first 5 team total. One of my favorite picks I've had this year, easily cashed, was Burns got shelled. And then our one loss was Freddie Freeman over 1.5 bases. He got one. Deja vu from last Friday when we had Freddie Freeman as our last leg of our hit parlay to go 5-0, and he sold. So no more Freddie Fridays. There, you won't be seeing us bet any Freeman props on Friday. But either way, if that wasn't good enough, our Dimers hit parlay smacked as well for plus 195 odds. A great Friday overall. Let's continue that momentum going into today. Before we dive into our favorite picks, do you want to talk about BetFred? You can get $111 in bonus bets on their sportsbook if you want to take advantage of it. Pretty easy to do. All you got to do is claim. Top link in the description. You can check out the couple different links available in Maryland, Ohio, Arizona, and Iowa. All you got to do is wager $50. You can get back $111 in bonus bets. Take advantage of that. All details down below. But Logan, let's dive into our 5 favorite picks. We've got an action-packed slate. It's a Saturday. What's your first pick going to be?
Yeah, we're going back to over-reliable for my first pick today. Now, this one's interesting, right? We're taking Trey Turner over 1.5 bases, plus 125 on DraftKings. And if it seems like Groundhog Day, yes, it is. We wake up, bet Trey Turner. And that's what I've been doing recently. Now, why do I say it's interesting this time? Because the books are giving us really good value. Yes, you gotta put on your magnifying glass. You gotta be like, a little suspect here. Because, Trey Turner has just been an absolute machine to the base props, right? He's now recorded 2+ bases in 7 straight games and 7 straight at home. Since the standing ovation game that Austin and I went to last Friday, he does have a hit in every single game. So he's getting on base. He's seeing the ball really well right now. Now today, though, are we getting plus 125 on this bet? Well, because he's running into one of the best pitchers this year, at least statistically, and it's Pablo Lopez. Against Pablo Lopez, Trey Turner's not fared all that well. 6 for 29, 207, with 3 of those hits being extra base hits. So if he is getting a hit against Pablo Lopez, 50% of the time it is an extra base hit, which we do obviously want in this one. Now, again, this is a tough matchup for Trey Turner. I have to come out. I just have to be transparent. I have to tell you why we're getting plus 125. It's still an auto bet for me just because of how amazing he's been for us. But Lopez uses the fastball, changeup, and sweeper primarily. Trey Turner struggles versus those pitches. So he's only hitting 207, 229, and 154 respectively against those pitches. Now, what gives me hope for this bet, and the reason why I'm still running it back for Trey Turner, is just how good he's been, right? Trey Turner hitting 429 in his last 7 home games with 24 total bases in those 7 games. That's over a 3 base per game average. We saw what he did last night. He's just absolutely raking right now. And in this game, it's not a good matchup for Trey, but he's earned the me taking a chance on him today, and that's why it's called gambling. At plus 125 odds, yeah, I'll gamble that any day long for one of the best hitters in baseball right now, who's clearly seeing the ball well. Obviously, I'll run it back, and if Trey, hurts us today, that's fine. I kind of half expect it, but I presented all the evidence to you. You can do what you want. I'm running Trey Turner back because he's our COS Hall of Famer for a reason. But Austin, what are you going with today?
Yeah, ultimately, you just got to run him. You got to run him into the ground. If he does it again today, we'll run it back tomorrow, regardless of matchup. Kind of the one thing that gives me hope is previously this season, back I think in April, Masataka Yoshida, his base prop, they kept putting that plus money. I think he had in like 8 straight games, and they just kept giving out plus money nonstop. So hopefully Trey Turner can continue to be that wagon for us. But I'm going to go to a guy that we really love on this channel, not a guy we've talked about a whole lot, going to my own base prop. It's going to be Riley Green of the Detroit Tigers, over 1.5 bases, plus 110 on DraftKings. Now, a fun fact, why do we love Riley Green? Well, he went to our high school. Now, he is younger than us, so very similar to Ryan Mountcastle, who went to our high school. We obviously know personally. Riley Green, we don't have that same personal relationship, but we still do root for him on and off the field, and I love his matchup today against him. I'm not just backing him just because I like him as a player. I really think he's a talented guy, and I think he's got a great matchup here today. But you look at Riley Green on the season, arguably been the most consistent player on this Detroit Tigers offense, especially when he's in the lineup, and he's batting .302 on the season on a 5-game hit streak. Technically did get yesterday off, but they pinch hit him and he still got a hit. So we'll take that. And he's been seeing the ball really well all year long. Like I said, he's one of their best hitters. And with a game total set to 10, look, some runs are going to be scored, and they can't all be by the Red Sox, in my opinion. I think you're going to see the Tigers offense show up, and with a guy like Riley Green batting normally in that 2 spot, it's going to see plenty of plate opportunities, hopefully 5 today, and I'll take my chances with Riley Green getting it done. Now, look, I think yesterday I talked about what's going to be a very popular play. It's going to be Corbin Burnes, under 5.5 hits allowed. If anyone watched the video, you shouldn't have been surprised when Corbin Burnes got rocked. That's why we took White Sox over 1.5 first 5 team total. When you take those super public props, which the 2 biggest ones I saw yesterday were Lance Lynn's under 8.5 case, Nope House 9, and then Burnes under and hits allowed. I don't like going to those public props, and I imagine one will be today. Brian Bayo's over and out, something he's hitting 10 of his last 11. Only getting like minus 135 juice, begging you to lay the juice. And while I'm not hoping that loses, I do think that he gives up some runs today, Mr. Bayo, that is. Now, let's talk about Brian Bayo, actually, who's going to start for this Red Sox team. 75th percentile walk percentage. You got to like that. Not walking a ton of guys, but 16th in hard hit percentage. Despite having great season-long stats, when he gets hit, he gets hit pretty hard, and he doesn't strike out a lot of guys. Only 26% in K percentage. So, look, Riley Green's a great hitter, but he does have some faults, but he does have some great tendencies. You look at his tendencies, 86th percentile in hard hit percentage, 96th percentile in expected batting average, and 91st in expected slugging. Now, his main flaws, you look at the strikeouts, 19th in K percentage, 28th in whiff percentage. Sure, he will whiff on some pitches and he'll strike out here and there, but Bayo's not a big strikeout guy. His line's probably sitting at 4.5, 5.5. So at the end of the day, I really like Green to get it done here. Bayo is struggling against left-handed batters. You look at Green, who is a lefty. Bayo's allowing a 280 batting average to lefties compared to like a 218 or so against righties, despite having identical splits, at bat numbers against them. I'll have 9 more extra base hits to lefties. So I'd rather take a lefty against a guy like Bayo. And the last but not least, we got to look at the pitches. Bayo, you look at what he's throwing to lefties, 38% changeup, 25% four seam and sinker, and then 9% slider. Green's expected batting average versus those pitches, 321, 294, 314, and 306 respectively. So seeing all the 4 pitches he's going to see come his way really, really well. Obviously, I like to take lefties in Fenway Park because you can send one down the line. Maybe it's a ground rule double into the stands, or it just finds one of those gaps. Yeah, I don't really like taking righties having to go up against the wall because you can hit it scorching off the wall and only get a single there. I think Riley Green has a good chance to get a double. He always is a menace in the first inning, so hopefully he can get it done in the first. We should just bet the Nerfy, Logan, because it's guaranteed that he gets an extra base hit in the first inning. But either way, really love Riley Green today. Should be back in the lineup batting in that 2 spot. Give me his over 1.5 bases at plus 110. I think that's a steal. Give it to me. But Logan, you got another base prop. Where are you going for this one?
I love that Riley Green play. Riley Green, one of the better hitters, kind of low key because he plays for the Tigers, but he is a great hitter. Also, another base prop I have is plus money, which we like to see. I'm getting Kyle Tucker of the Astros over 1.5 bases, plus 115 odds on DraftKings. Tucker has a really, really good matchup versus Tyway Anderson today. Now, if I see gambling Twitter all over this one, I'm going to chalk it up early. But hopefully they don't know that Tucker's as good against Anderson as he is, because Tucker's 5 for 6, 833 with a double and 2 triples against Tyway Anderson. So he's just been hitting extra base hits galore against Tyway Anderson, the lefty. And last time Tucker faced the Angels with Anderson starting, he went 4 for 5. So, I mean, what more do you really need to see? Anderson throws the four-seamer, the changeup, and the cutter. Tucker really good against the four-seam fastball this year, hitting 350. He's 241 and 259 against those other 2 pitches, respectively. But, if Anderson's throwing him fastballs, Kyle Tucker, one of the best hitters in the league, he knows exactly what to do with them. And last night, Tucker went over, even though the Astros scored 11 runs. If you had Tucker in a hit parlay yesterday, I'm sorry, because he wronged you real good, and you would have thought, wow, given the score, he probably got a hit in there somewhere. Nope, and that's not how baseball works, right? So really, he should be able to bounce back today. Anderson allows a 256 batting average to lefties and a 730 OPS. So he's been a little bit better to lefties versus righties, but against lefties, Tucker's just absolutely been raking this year. He's hitting 336 this season, and at home versus lefties, he's hitting 342 this season. Tucker, one of the better hitters, especially, at Minute Maid Park. I really don't see a reason why he shouldn't be able to get at least one hit against Tyway Anderson today. And hopefully if he does need a second hit, it can come against that Angels bullpen, which doesn't scare me one bit. Angels 22nd in bullpen ERA. Definitely think there should be run opportunities and hit opportunities galore in this game. So I think Kyle Tucker over 1.5 bases is also a really good bet to make at plus value. I like all of our total basis props being at plus value. But Austin, you got a game pick for us? What you going with?
Yeah, I'm going to another game pick, and I've done decently. I think I've hit the last two with the Orioles and then the White Sox first 5 team total. Today I'm going back to that White Sox game, but I'm actually targeting the first five under at 4.5 -120 on FanDuel. Now I don't think this is a terrible nerfy look, but I rather just take the under 4.5 in the first five. And if you look at yesterday, like I said, I told you I thought Burns was going to have a bad outing, and he did. Now yesterday, the White Sox arguably trotted out one of the worst, most defensive lineups I've ever seen, and they actually showed up against Corbin Burns. I think a lot of people would be scared to run back, some similar Burns type props with Woodruff today. And I think Woodruff's going to have a good showing. And so will Jesse Schultz is going to start for the White Sox. So let's dive a little bit deeper into this one, because yesterday you saw a ton of runs scored in the first 5 innings. You have 5 against Burns. I think Kopech gave up 5 himself. Today, I think these offenses are going to cool off a little bit through the first 5. And while I would target the full game under, yesterday the Brewers used all 3 of their best arms, and I don't know if they run those guys back. I don't trust the White Sox bullpen at all either. Then they saw these games go into extra innings, so more relievers were used. I'd rather not trust those bullpens. I'd rather trust, first 5 innings, get in and get out, and hopefully this is one where the first 5 goes under pretty easily. But let's talk about Brandon Woodruff, who's going to start here for the Brewers. Now, he enters with a 1.65 ERA and a 0.86 whip. Now, he did return from injury last Sunday through 5 innings pitched, allowed 2 earned runs with 9 strikeouts versus the Pirates. So had the swing and a miss, and that's what you love to see. And the K prop for him set to 7.5. So you clearly expect the swing and miss to be going again today. And you look at Burns, didn't even sniff that total, but they're still thinking this White Sox, they're not too happy with this White Sox offense. And like I said, Woodruff's not a guy that has a ton of starts under his belt, this year. He only has, I think, 3 or 4, but the 0.86 whip is promising. And this is a White Sox offense that got a ton of production yesterday. I appreciate the production they got from the guys named Jimenez, Moncada, and Vaughn. Those guys went 7 for 15. If you tell me those guys go 7 for 15 again today, yeah, probably ain't happening. Those guys I do not trust at all. I'm glad they showed up for when I needed them, but I need them to disappear today, and I certainly think they're capable of doing that. And you saw last year, Woodruff allowed a 215 batting average. So Woodruff's been a pretty good pitcher for this Brewers rotation for the last several years. I like him as a pitcher. Normally, hopefully can force those ground balls, get this White Sox team ground into some double plays, and I think he has a good chance to go out there and have a pretty good start in this one. Now, on the other side is going to be Jesse Schultz, who starts for the White Sox. Now, normally, Schultz is a reliever, but they've turned him into a starter, and you look at his numbers, 3.06 ERA and a 1.22 whip, pretty good in his only 2 starts this year. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned runs versus the Rangers, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs versus the Guardians. So, look, he's pitched pretty well against 2 solid offenses. The Rangers are no slouch at all, and that was on the road. This will be his first start back at home, but I think he can come out here and do his thing against the Brewers. The Brewers are a talented offense. I'm not going to come out here and say the Brewers are trash. This is a team that can score 5 runs by themselves. They did it yesterday in the first 5, but is just as likely have you seen the Brewers go out there and score 10 runs. I've also seen the other side of it where they score 1 run. There's going to be a lot of people back in the Brewers again, and rightfully so. It's a team with a guy with a 1.6 whip and or ERA, and a team that, the White Sox, we don't really know where they're going. The Brewers are obviously fighting to win their division. So at the end of the day, I just don't trust the Brewers offense, though. I don't necessarily know if the Brewers win this game outright, but I think it's a lower, closer scoring game. Over the last 2 weeks, Brewers 19th in batting average and 24th in OPS on the road versus right-handed pitchers. Obviously, they're going to face a righty in Jesse Schultz today. So, look, I think these offenses are slower out of the gates. We still might see the full game go over with some runs coming in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, just because the bullpens are a little bit taxed. But I think this first 5 is a good one. I like this at under 4.5. I think we're getting solid, -120. Not crazy juice here. I think this is a lower scoring game through 5. Then we see maybe the runs start to pick up as the game goes on, given the depletion of these bullpens. But Woodruff and Schultz, I need you guys. Give me the White Sox Brewers under 4.5 in the first 5 innings. But Logan, you know what time it is, baby? It's Nerfination time. Get out the flags, and we're looking to get another winner today. Now, we were going to go with the Marlins and Yankees Nerfy, and while we don't hate that one today, we hate Johnny Brito, and he is projected to start. And while the Marlins are bad, Brito arguably is worse. We don't trust that guy. That guy throws it straight down the middle of the plate, and a guy like Jorge Soler or even Josh Bell could take it deep. And while we hope that one hits with Sandy Alcantara on the other side, we'll probably go back to it tomorrow, assuming, this one can hit. But let's talk about the one we're actually going with, because we really like this one. And we're going to the Cubs and Blue Jays game, an earlier start than most games. So we're taking the no run first inning, -110 on DraftKings, get -110 across the board. I think FanDuel has this one set to like -130. So they didn't really have a price when we were about to record. I think they're going to be right around -130 right as we're about to let it go. But I like this one. I think this is a good spot. We considered Blue Jays on the money line, but I think the Nerfy's a better look here. Now, Chris Bassitt's scheduled to start for the Blue Jays. He's been really good at home this season, and he's been, good on Nerfination, 17-7 on the year. He is 8-3 on Nerfies at home, and on the, since 2019, 46-9 Nerfies at home. So he's been a really good at-home pitcher. Obviously, hasn't been with the Blue Jays for a long, long time, but I still do think he'd come out here and get us those first 3 outs. The Cubs are an offense that sure, they're 19th in first inning runs, but those numbers, if you look at the average, about 0.57 runs per first inning at home and 0.39 on the road. So they obviously are a worst road offense. Did score in the first inning yesterday. I don't think they score here today. So Bassett, I need 3 outs. Who's on the other side pitcher for the Cubs today, Logan?
It's Justin Steele, and Justin Steele has been really good on no-run first innings this year. He's 17-4 on Nerfies, and I should be able to trust him in this spot. He's facing a Blue Jays offense that's 27th in first inning runs, and truthfully, Justin Steele's one of those pitchers that's first time through the order, he's really hard to see. And combine that with a Blue Jays offense that, I'll trash them real quick. They could have bases loaded, nobody out, and I'm not confident they could get a run out of that. So I'm just saying Justin Steele should, even if he is in a little bit of trouble, rely on the fact that the Blue Jays just haven't been that offense this year. They're good on paper, just cannot produce consistently. The over-under set to 8.5, right in the range that most games are set these days. But I really think the combination of Chris Bassett hopefully being able to hold down that top half of the inning and Justin Steele taking us home, I really like it, Nerfination. Let's back-to-back Nerfies. Who says no?
Yeah, let's get into a little bit of a streak, and then we'll run back to the Marlins one tomorrow. But let's cash that Nerfie. Let's cash our 3 base props, and let's have hope for a low-scoring game in that White Sox game through the first 5. Let us know your favorite picks down below. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, drop a like too. If you want to check out our second channel, it's on the screen too. Logan, let's have a day. We'll see you guys back in Sunday, hopefully with the brooms out, hopefully continuing this good momentum we've had the last 2 days. We'll see you guys then. Peace.